like, if I can talk. First off, I just kind of want you to like start by like sharing your story for anyone who doesn't know you and just kind of like going us through all that.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm super excited to be on here, so thank you so much for having me. I'm super pumped about this. So I'm Morgan, and I joined this business about 5 years ago, and so it's been a while, and I was 20 years old whenever I joined. I was a broke college student. I was putting gas and groceries on credit cards. I didn't know what this business was. I didn't know what network marketing was. I had never heard about it. But I saw a girl that I had met one time through a mutual friend posting on her Instagram about the wraps and the results. And I totally thought it was fake. I thought it was a scam. And then I thought they were photoshopped. But I was at the point in my life where I had gained a lot of weight because I was diagnosed with a heart condition around March of that year. And I saw all of this stuff around May or June. And so I had gained a lot of weight, and I was like, well, if this could help me feel more confident, maybe it's worth giving it a shot, even though I'm pretty sure it's not going to work. And so I tried it anyways, just on a limb, didn't have the money to do it, but I got the wraps anyways, loved my results. So I was a customer first, only because I didn't know I could do the business. Had I known, I would have just started with the business. And so I think that that's something that we should definitely think about whenever we're signing up customers, is offering that opportunity to them. Definitely don't do that enough myself, but just as I'm talking, it's like pretty obvious, like we should be at least like letting them know. And if it's not for them yet, at least we're like planting that seed in their head, like, oh, okay, like as they're using the products, they're going to keep thinking about doing it. So anyway, joined the business, and I just wanted $100 a month for gas and groceries. And so I got to work, got excited, didn't know what I was doing, didn't have any training hardly whatsoever, but I learned everything on my own and just decided that, you know, I was going to take the bull by the horns and make it work for me. And so 2 months in, I promoted to executive. 4 months in, I went Ruby, and then I sat at Ruby for a whole year, got on the cruise to Mexico that we had, and that was absolutely amazing for me. So I was able to just kind of surround myself with people that I had never really met before, people that I had never come in contact with, and people that like I didn't know those types of people existed, if that makes sense. Like I never heard the type of positivity and the dreaming big that I saw at that on that cruise. And so honestly, I went into the cruise kind of ready to quit on myself and on my business, because I joined for $100 a month. I was making about $500 to $700 honestly as a Ruby, and lost sight of where I was going. And I started comparing myself instead of saying like, oh, I'm making 7 times more than what I ever joined for, and if I don't quit, I will get further than that. I started comparing myself, saying, you know, okay, I'm supposed to be at this rank by now, or like, oh, this person's here and I'm not, so maybe this isn't for me. Got on that comparison train, such a trap, absolutely terrible. And it's the thief of joy. And so that's kind of where I was. Went to the cruise, left, so fired up, so pumped up, ready to promote. And I promoted from Ruby to Emerald and Emerald to Diamond in the same day in February, earned $22,000 in bonuses, and was able to quit all my jobs. I was working 65 hours a week and going to school full time at the time. And so I was able to quit all my jobs, and sat at Diamond for 13 months. And in the middle of that, I went to conference for the first time. And that's where I finally had the belief that I could get past Diamond, because for so long I was stuck at Diamond thinking that there was no more for me, and that Diamond was as good as it got for me. Double was just too good. And like, I wasn't worthy of that. And so went to, you know, conference, heard Mark say I was worthy. I borrowed his belief, got home, got to work with a team that didn't work with me really, and went double in March and earned bonuses. And then my boyfriend at the time, now husband, went diamond, and we earned bonuses on his account. And then I made a vow to myself that I would never sit at a rank for a year again. And so then I said, you know, we're going to go triple in May. And this was whenever they had the fast track bonuses. Most of y'all weren't around for that, but we could earn bonuses if we promoted to triple by May. And so that was our goal, and that's what we ended up doing. And that was a crazy story. I could go into more depth, but basically we went triple. My husband now went double, and we earned $105,000 in bonuses from the time that I went to conference. And by the time that I promoted to triple, we went from a $2,000 paycheck going into conference to a $20,000 paycheck 5 months later. And it was absolutely insane. Conference and getting to events changes everything. So if you're not hustling for Margaritaville like your leader Cheyenne, because she's one of the top point earners. So if you're not hustling for some Margaritaville points like her, you need to. because it's life-changing. I wouldn't be here, honestly, if I hadn't gotten on the cruise to Mexico. I would have given up on myself, but I caught a belief there that I never had before. If I hadn't gotten to conference, I never would have gotten past Diamond, and I probably would have quit by then too. And so getting to events and staying plugged in is absolutely crucial. So anyway, fast forward, I did end up sitting at a rank for another year, but that's okay because the difference in that time was the growing, and it was progress, not perfection, and I didn't feel stuck. I was progressing, and I was working with the team that was excited, and you were just switching out leadership every now and then and just doing the things that you do that it takes to get to a promotion. It's so normal. And we ended up promoting to presidential last October, and we earned more bonuses. My husband went triple, so amazing. And then now we're still working on ambassador. And what I've learned is that, you know, even though my story seems like it's taken a lot longer than a lot of other people's who are like, yeah, I joined and like 7 days later I was ambassador, don't really know what happened. Like, that's not my story. But what's cool is that I've learned so much along the way that now I can relate to people who don't have that fast track story. Now the people that say, you know, I've been sitting in a rank for a long time, I can relate to you and I can understand where you're coming from. And what I've thought about so often in that comparison game that we get so stuck in, I stop myself by thinking it doesn't matter how long I go to ambassador or how long it takes for me to get there, because my end goal is not ambassador. In the end, my goal is progress, because even after ambassador, I want to get further than that. Like, my paycheck doesn't need to stay where it is the first ambassador check that I get. And I know that if I continue to work, I will eventually go ambassador. And eventually makes it sound like I think that it's going to be a long time, and that's not the case. But I know that as I continue to do what I'm doing right now, I'm going to get there. And making $33,000 average per month would never happen in 6 years or less with any other company or organization I could ever be a part of. And so when you start to think to yourself, like, oh my gosh, it may take me a year to go diamond. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen? Well, who knows? Maybe you'll be presidential by your 5th year, because that was me. It took me 14 months to hit diamond. And I'm not mad about it. I never look back and think like, oh my gosh, like I wish I would have been diamond earlier. Like, I'm proud of my story and I'm proud of my success and where I've come from. And so I don't want you to get stuck in that, like, oh my gosh, like I'm not doing this as quickly as everyone else. It's not a race. It's a journey. It's not a race. Stop trying to beat somebody else to another rank, because guess what? That's never why you joined. You never joined this business. Whenever I ask people, what's your why? They never said, oh, I joined so that I could beat so-and-so that I met in this business to this rank. That's not why you joined. So stop making that your why right now. So it was just a little preaching that I just felt like I should share. But anyway, so yeah, that's my story. And because of this business, I guess I should say that, because of this business, we were able to pay cash for my school. We were able to pay off my husband's student loans. We were able to buy a Tahoe in cash. I know Shay did that too. We were able to purchase our dream home. We built it from the ground up, and now we're living in it right now. We've been here for about 2.5 months. And we've been able to pay off $100,000 in debt. We've been top 28 income earners in the company. We have been able to travel more. We paid cash for our wedding. And now we're able to give more and save more than we ever were before. And we're teaching our team to do the same thing. So that is my story.
I freaking love you. Thank you for preaching to us, because I know I definitely needed it. I just got like a couple texts of questions that are like different from what I had asked you, or from like with ones I sent you earlier. But someone asked, what do you do every single day to make sure that you are consistently enrolling? So like, do you follow like a power hour, 6 list, like that sort of stuff?
Okay, so there's tasks that I do, and then I'll tell you how my day is set up. So the tasks that I do, super simple, and you're probably already doing it anyways, because there really is no secret to success. It's just the amount and volume of what you're doing. So it's posting, messaging, following up, and self-development. And then obviously talking with your team if you have a team. So posting, messaging, following, follow up, self-development, chatting with your team, and like leadership type stuff. Okay, so how that looks in my day, I read this book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. If you have never read that book, add it to your list. It's amazing. It changed my life around June of this year. And I used to be the person that was like, I'm going to stay up until 3 a.m. because I just am working so hard, and, you know, I'm going to be grinding. And so I'm going to wake up at 10:30 in the morning. I'm going to grind till 3 a.m. Okay. You're not as productive as you think you are at 3 a.m. I'm just going to tell you. And I don't care how much of a night owl you are, because that is me to a T. You're not as productive as you think you are. You can't get as much accomplished after about midnight. And like, yeah, during promotion months, that might look different, but that's not sustainable. And we're really, really good at teaching our teams how to burn themselves out. And that's what I've noticed for myself. And so for me, having just that balance or like that blend of my life has helped a lot. So what I started doing after I read that book, it's called The Miracle Morning. So you wake up, and I literally put my alarm clock across the room. Maybe that's something that some of you need to do. And by across the room, I mean like across the bathroom. Like I have to walk through my bedroom, through the bathroom to turn off my alarm, because that's how much of a, like, I would love to sleep in. So I just try to make myself wake up. As soon as my alarm clock goes off, I get up and I've already walked a little bit. So like my blood's flowing, I'm feeling okay. Like I really want to get up and start my day. So I immediately, because I'm already in the bathroom, I brush my teeth. And so brushing your teeth, it sounds weird. Brushing your teeth makes you like more awake, because it's a task that you know how to do. So it doesn't take a lot of brain activity, but you do have to be awake to be able to brush your teeth. So it's something that's helpful whenever you are trying to get yourself to wake up in the morning. So brush your teeth, then drink a glass of water, because the reason that you feel so tired throughout the day and especially in the morning is because you're dehydrated. You haven't drank for 8 hours or so. So you need to drink a glass of water, hydrate yourself. And then he recommends doing multiple different things. Find what works best for you. I started doing some different things, and he recommends working out. That's not what my schedule does. I do nighttime workouts, but work out if you want to, whatever it is. But for me, I like to listen to a sermon and do my affirmations before I get to work on my stuff on my business, because it's super important for me that I decide how my day goes. And he talks about this, somebody talked about this in a book, and I don't remember which book it was, but it may have been this one. I think it was. He said, when you wake up, if the first thing that you look at is your phone, then somebody else is getting to determine how your day goes, because there can be the steering for your ship. And so if you wake up and the first thing you see is a negative text message, how's that going to set the tone for your day? If you see a customer saying, hey, I want to turn my auto shipment off, how is that going to make your day go? Or if you see a distributor and they're like, well, I just don't think this is for me, how's that going to set the tone for your day? Or maybe it's a great text message, and that's what determines that you're going to have a good day. Maybe it's because somebody signed up as a customer. That shouldn't be what determines your day. It should be you, because otherwise, like, you can't control it. So don't look at your phone when you first wake up. And I know that's like, oh my gosh, well, I have messages to respond to. Here's the thing though, you're waking up around 7 a.m. So you don't have any new text messages from the day yet. Most of them are going to be from that night. And I usually try to get through all my texts before I go to bed. And I wake up with maybe 2 or 3 text messages, and I'm beating everybody else awake. So I don't really have a lot to catch up on. Okay. So wake up around 7, because you're going to go to bed around 11, 11:30, midnight. Midnight's pretty much my cutoff. I make myself go to bed at midnight because I could stay up later. Go to bed at midnight, wake up at 7, do my whole thing that I just told y'all about. So for my sermon, I usually listen to like a Michael Todd sermon. I love Darius Daniels. My team, like, we're all obsessed with them. Like, we're probably going to take a trip to Oklahoma and go see Michael Todd in his church or something. But anyway, so we love him. That's a really great sermon series you can definitely listen to. And then for affirmations, does anybody not know what affirmations is? I can go into that if I need to, but I just don't want to like go into it if we all know. So if you don't know what they are, go ahead and put it in the chat and I'll come back to it and explain them, because I want you to know. So sermon and affirmations, and then I do my power hour. Okay. So now this is like 7 to 7:30, 8 o'clock. That's whenever I'm brushing my teeth, I'm stretching, I'm drinking my water, I'm doing my celery juice. And I do get on my Instagram story and I make my Instagram story, but I'm not checking messages. Okay. So I'm showing my celery juice, I'm letting my dog out, all that stuff. So then at 8 o'clock, I do my sermon and affirmations, and then at 9 o'clock is our team power hour. So at 9 o'clock, I sit down and I get all my stuff done. And that's where your 6th list comes in that I told you before: post, message, follow up, self-development, and help your team. So what that kind of looks like for me: posting, pretty obvious. Make sure you're posting for your Insta story throughout the day. Make sure that you're talking about your life, sharing who you are, because people buy you before they buy the products. People buy into you before they buy into the business. And then post, so the message, so messaging, I mean, it's pretty obvious, like just reach out to new people about the products, the business. You can do host to post, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you want to do. And then following. So just follow, add new people that are very similar to you, and then add a bunch of them and comment and like on their stuff as you do. Following up whatever system that you have in place. If you don't have one, search on YouTube. There's lots of different ones. I'm sure Shay has some different things she does too on her team page, or Cheyenne if she has something. I know she's like so green, so she got some organization tips for y'all if you don't have anything. But so find a system that works for you. Follow up with people that you've talked to before. Ask if they're still interested. I like to keep mine super simple and just say, hey, what you think? Hey, are you still interested? And those are just, that's how I would talk to you if I was at a coffee shop, and they can see the sincerity and the genuinity whenever I say that, versus like, I have one spot left, like, you know, I'm on my phone right now placing an order for 3 more people. Like, they're like, dude, it's 7 a.m. You're not placing an order for 3 more people. I'm on to you. So, you know, that's what I do personally, and that's what works for me. So find what works best for you. Maybe it is the message where you're putting orders in and you're going to add theirs. Whatever works for you is great. And then for me, whenever I am posting, messaging, follow up, self-development. So whenever I'm doing my self-development, I don't do self-development while I'm doing my tasks, because I can't do both at the same time. So my self-development usually is an Audible book. And I like Audible books versus podcasts because it's the same flow. It's the same topic. It's the same idea over a long span of time to help you really get the idea, versus podcasts that are like dipping you into different things. And you're like, okay, well, I halfway understand leadership, and I like kind of understand, you know, vision casting, and like, I kind of understand this, and like, versus like, I'm drilling in this point and this idea into my head for the next week and a half. So I usually listen while I drive. I listen while I do dishes. I listen while I cook. I listen anytime like that I have a chance to do that. Like while I'm getting ready, instead of listening to music, I do that. And then checking up with my team, following up with my team. I have a couple team chats that I'm in, and so I send them the little tasks to do for the day. Or I'll check in with my new distributors, and I'll let them know like, hey, what's something that you need help with today? Or like, hey, let's send this message to 10 people and text me back when they respond, and I'll help you with what to say. So things like that. So I don't know if that helps, but that's what I do. That was very, very detailed. Sorry if that wasn't what you wanted, but I was talking to 4 people, and they all asked me like, what's your schedule? Like, do you wake up early? How do you get this done without feeling stressed out? So that was the tip that I gave them. So maybe it'd be helpful for y'all.
No, yeah, completely. And then kind of going off of that, like how you kind of said like that you read this book and it helped you like balance your days, but like how do you balance like life, business? I know you're not in school, but you know, like school, like all of that.
I think it's super important for me, and people may think that they're not this way, but it's probably just because you've never tried it. So I would personally get everything done before your first thing that you have to go and do that day. So if you have an 8 o'clock class, then I guess you're going to wake up at 6:30, and you're going to get this done till 7:30, and then you're going to go to class, because you can go to bed earlier. But what's going to happen inevitably, you're going to go to class. You're going to like, okay, I'm going to do this after class because that's what works better for me. Okay. But side note, have you ever tried it the other way? Because you say it works better for you to do it after, but you haven't promoted in a year and a half. So are you sure that that works the best for you? Are you sure? Because you haven't tried doing it before class. So what's going to happen is you're going to go to class, then you're going to go to lunch, and your plan is going to be to work at lunch, but then all your friends come sit with you at the table and you're not going to work. And then you're going to go and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And then, oh crap, like you were going to go and do your stuff, but now your teacher just threw like a test on you tomorrow. Now you have to go study. And now it's 10:30 at night and you have a test early in the morning. And you can't finish all your 6 list. So it just doesn't get done. Right? But if you say on the offense of your day and you say, I'm getting this stuff done, the minimum, no matter what happens today, I will have gotten my 6 list done. And it may not be like this grand spectacle of like every single thing being done to the T and like as many people as I normally message, but I'll at least have messaged. I will at least have followed up. I will have posted something instead of letting the day happen and run you. Like you are in charge of your day, so start it that way. And I know that that's an early morning, but again, if you listen to this Miracle Morning book, you're going to want to wake up even earlier than 6:30. Like you're going to want to do this because it just feels good and it sets the tone for your day. So honestly, me getting all my stuff done by 10 a.m. and 10 a.m., I know that's kind of late, but like for me, literally like all my work stuff is done, all my self-development is done, all my affirmations are done, my dog is taken care of, I'm dressed and like fixed up and ready to go. My celery juice is drained, my coffee's done. Like literally everything's done by 10 o'clock. So then for the rest of the day, what do I do? Like, well, whatever I want to do. And I message in between. I respond to people in between. And I get to run my day. I get to go to the gym and not feel stressed out because I don't have my phone. I get to get on calls like this and not feel stressed out. So it's worth it for your sanity and for your lack of burnout to wake up earlier and to get your stuff done before whatever tasks that you have to do for that day.
I absolutely love that because like that's something that I actually was talking to Shay about today was like I just like I don't know, but like that I love that you said that. I'm definitely needing to get that book. I just put it in my Amazon shopping cart. I'm trying to look at all of these. Okay, so the next question was complacency. Like how do you avoid getting complacent with your business? And like it kind of goes along with what you just said, but like if you have any more like tips on that.
I think for me, beyond just setting goals for yourself, which is like an obvious answer, but sometimes we miss that too. Like we're like, oh, well, what do I do to, really push for this goal? Set a goal for like, what is that promotion going to do for you? Because it's really cool if I say like, well, I'm going to ambassador. That's what I'm working for today, but I'm not working for ambassador today. I'm working for what ambassador is going to do for me. And that is being able to pay off the rest of the debt that we have. That is being able to pay off my house early. That's being able to go on vacations. That's being able to do whatever it is. And so, me like working towards ambassador means all of those things. But some of you stop at, oh, I'm working towards triple. I'm working towards diamond. I'm working towards emerald. And you don't know why. You don't know what it's going to do for you. And so then that's not going to drive you. Inky Johnson said something once in like a motivational speaking thing that he did. And he said, your why has to be bigger than you because at some point you're going to hit something that's a lot tougher than you and it's going to make you quit because you don't have a driving force behind why you do what you do. And so that's exactly where complacency sets in. And I think too, beyond like dreaming big, like I said, you also need to set small goals for yourself because right now, maybe you feel like you're so far away from your promotion. Maybe you feel like, oh my gosh, like ambassador so far away or presidential so far away or diamond seems so far away. Like I know that's what I'm shooting for next, but it seems really far. I think in the midst of that, it's like, okay, like this week I'm going to enroll 2 distributors or 1 distributor. And then once you enroll that distributor, what is your next small goal? Fast start bonus, always. So enroll distributors and focus on fast start bonuses. And we have Margaritaville, so focus on getting them to 400. And we also have people that can go Ruby and get points, and you get points for helping them go Ruby. So focus on those things. Like that's really what's been driving me the last little bit is signing distributors, getting them fast started, getting my cabs because I'm diamond and above, getting my 400 points for them or like the points for them hitting 400, my 500 points for getting them Ruby, like that's been my goal. And so I'm not just looking at ambassador, but I'm looking at the smaller, like I'm like zoomed in and saying, okay, I need all these rubies to promote. So that's what I'm going to work on first. And all these rubies promoting is going to build me to ambassador, but I've got to get this done first. And so I think it's looking at the big picture, but then also zooming in and figuring out what can you do today? Is your goal today to enroll a customer? What BV? 60 BV? Okay, then let's work on upselling. How are we going to upsell? So like, let's look at ways we can upsell. Let's listen to some videos. That's going to give you like a real sharp focus on what exactly it is that you were wanting to do today.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for that. I like the setting small goals as well because I feel like for myself at least, I only look at the big picture and then like it's like feels like nothing's happening, but like if I would break that down into like smaller goals, I don't know, I feel like it would just like mean like a lot more if that makes sense. So next question, I cannot even read my own handwriting. How do you like cast that vision for your team to like, obviously like you have like your big goal in mind, but like how do you cast that for your team as well?
I think really talking to them about their goals versus like, I don't know, like I always hear people say like, I tell my team all the time, like, you're going to be a part of an ambassador team. And like, that's cool. But like for me, that would not drive me. Like Susan talks and she's like, we're a black diamond team. We're a black diamond team. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go do my thing. Like, that's fine. But like, I'm like focused on like my people. And so I never want people to think that their goal, that their promotion is a part of my goal, even though it is. Like, it's hard because you do want them to realize that they're part of something bigger, but I never want them to think that the sole purpose of them promoting is to elevate me. It's to change their own life. And so I think reminding them what they're doing this for, and it's for them. You know, reminding Rachel that, because I'm just using my team as an example, reminding Rachel, like, you know, this promotion is going to help you do this and this and this for your family and for your son and your boyfriend. Like, this is going to be amazing for y'all, and this is going to be able to do this. So that's why I'm like reminding them, like, I'm so excited to help you do this. Like, I'm so passionate about you getting to this level. I'm so excited for you to hit this rank. And Craig Groeschel talks in his leadership podcast. That's another one. If you haven't listened to that, you definitely should. I can type his name after I'm done talking because I can't do both at the same time. I will type his name, but you need to listen to his podcast. It's the leadership podcast is literally what it's called. And he said, in leadership, to empower leaders, you need to, let me see what it is. It's see farther, think bigger, something like that. See farther, dream bigger, and okay, I'm butchering this. Let me see if I can find it in my notes. But anyways, basically, that's what you need to do for your team, is like see them at that goal before they see themselves at that goal. So like whenever somebody's going for Ruby on my team, I'm talking about, yeah, thank you, Emily. I'm talking about Emerald. Like, they're talking about Ruby, but I'm like, girl, when you go Emerald, like I'm casting that vision that they don't even see yet because they just don't believe that for themselves. And so you have to be the one to see that in them. You have to be the one to point out their gifts, because so many times we are so stinking hard on ourselves that we are so quick to see the things we need to work on, but really slow to see the gifts that we do have. And so that's our job as leaders, is to show them, hey, you have amazing leadership skills, and it would be really great if you would, you know, do this and this and this for your team. And like, I think that it'd be really helpful for you to, I don't know, like just different stuff like that. Hang on, this is like in my old journal. But anyways, so I think, what was the question again? The original question?
You're good. Like, how do you like cast that vision for your team?
Yeah, so basically, yeah, it's really just seeing them at that rank before they see themselves there. And not just, oh, here it is. Oh my gosh, wait. If that's it, I got to it really fast. Maybe it's not it. Oh, see farther, dream bigger, and care deeper. That's what it is. So it's like, it's like caring about them, and like not just about their promotion, but about them as a person. Because whenever you can care about them as a person, you really know what's going to make them tick. Like, oh, like if you, I don't know how to explain it, but like you can bring up like, oh my gosh, this is going to do this for your son. This is going to do this for your kids. This is going to do this for your husband, because you know so much about them that you can easily pinpoint how this promotion is going to help them the most, and you can talk about that. And so like, I mean, there's rubies on my team that are going for diamond this month, and like, do I think that they can do that? Absolutely. Like, I did it. I went from ruby to diamond in a month. So when they're talking about emerald, I'm like, screw emerald, we're going diamond, let's go. And yeah, Rachel and Emily too, like, I'm like, dude, let's go, like, we can do this, you know. So I think casting that vision is just consistency, and just really calling people out, and showing them the gifts that they have before they see it in themselves, and then empowering them too as leaders to take ownership and take responsibility of different tasks that you know that they're capable of doing, even 50% as well as you can, and letting them do that. That's going to help them to like feel this sense of excitement and like ownership of being able to do something. So I don't know if that makes sense. If it doesn't, go check out the Craig Groeschel Leadership Podcast, because the first 8 episodes, if you scroll down, you'll see episode 1, because it goes in opposite order. So start at episode 1. The first 8 are going to change your life as a leader. Talks a lot about casting vision and empowering leaders.
Okay, awesome. I'm definitely excited to go listen to that. I've heard his name before, but I don't think I've ever written it down to actually go and like listen to his stuff, but definitely doing that. Okay, also, if anyone else, oh, what was that?
And you like Michael Todd?
I love Michael Todd. I listen to him every single morning.
So Craig Groeschel was the speaker at his church this past Sunday. So 2 days.
Yeah.
So look at the gazy faith.
Yeah.
That's Craig Groeschel.
Oh, okay, awesome. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Also, if anyone else has any questions for Morgan while we have her here, please put them in the chat. I just have two more for her from earlier. But the next one is like, how do you like keep that belief in yourself? These questions like kind of like are all like going along together, but like it kind of just ties everything else. You know what I mean? But yeah, like how do you just like keep that belief?
Honestly, self-development, I know that's such a cliche and you're like, ugh, I knew she was gonna say that. But like really it is, because I think that sometimes you don't have that belief in yourself and you have to borrow it from somebody else. And for me, I have awesome leadership, but I don't have like an enroller type relationship leadership where they would pour into me and say like, I believe in you to go to this rank. And I know that people do believe in me to go to that rank, but sometimes it's just not enough to hear. It's like your mom saying like, oh, I believe in you, honey. Like, okay, well, you have to say that, you're my mom. Same type of thing, you know? And like, even with my best friends, like whenever Shay's like, you got this, you got ambassador, I'm like, you have to say that, like, you're my friend. And so for me, like I have to hear it from people that don't know me. And so I love to have like different leaders reach out to people on my team too and just say like, hey, like tell them that you believe in them, tell them that they can do this. And so maybe if you know for your team to have that belief, maybe have some people do that they really look up to and have them reach out and say, you know, send them a message and let them know that they're excited for them. But for me personally, because I don't have anybody doing that for me, I think really just diving into self-development and kind of borrowing their belief, like borrowing belief in the sense that like they've already done what I want to do. So yeah, it's possible. Because so many times we're like, well, I really want to make $60,000 a month. Like that's my number. That's what I write down every morning in my affirmations. I make $60,000 a month easily and effortlessly. But for me, like at the same time, like that seems almost impossible. Like who actually makes that? And I know people that have. I've like helped, you know, locked arms with people that have done that. But at the same time, it's different hearing it from somebody in a book saying like, yeah, like I make millions of dollars a month. And you're like, oh, well, 60,000, like, dude, I can do that. So it's like borrowing the belief from somebody that's already done it. And they're not even in this business. So there's so much money out there and you see that from so many people. I don't know. And like, as a red, I talk about the money because that is what drives me. That is what motivates me, but find what motivates you and think about those things and who you can borrow that belief from to really truly believe that you can get to that next level. And affirmations are huge because we are so negative to ourselves with our thoughts. Pam Souter always encourages us, and I've never done it before, to be honest, I should do it tomorrow. But she said to take a notebook with you one day and just write down every single thought you think and see how negative you're talking to yourself. And then think opposite of that. So like in your affirmations, think opposite of that and like write against that every single day and say like, no, I am worthy. Like, no, my volume is increasing. No, my paycheck is increasing. I have favor. I am blessed and all those different things. And so that's something that maybe I would do for belief. And that is stuff that I do, but it's not perfect. And I'm not always like so perfect at believing in myself, even though I'm presidential. And I know Shai would say that too with being a triple. Like you don't just think like, oh my gosh, yes, I totally believe in everything because I've hit this level and like now everything's perfect and my mindset's great. That's not how it works, unfortunately. And it's almost harder at these ranks because it's like, is there more? Is there really more? Like at Ruby, you're like, dude, there's more than 500. I got this. But then whenever you get here and you're like 15,000, is there actually more than that? Like people make this in a year. Is there more than that a month for me? Am I worthy of that? Can I do that? And so it gets harder with the belief even going there. So you have to reach higher and think about people that, you know, have already been where you want to be.
Yeah, I love that. And I love what you said because like I definitely felt like the belief does get harder like as you go up because literally exactly what you said. I mean like at Ruby it's like yeah, $500 like I can just go make 5,000. It's no big deal. But like yeah, I totally love that you said that. And then someone asked in the chat, do you prep your life post the night before or do you do it during your power hour?
I actually prep a lot of my posts at once. And I've taught my team to do this too because I used to do it every single night for the day for the next day. But some days, like how many of you just put a 1 in the chat if you have ever just like sat down to write a post and you're like, I don't have anything to say. No idea what to talk about. Yeah, definitely have done that. So I started thinking, I was like, why do I don't know, you just don't always feel inspired. And that doesn't mean that you're not excited. That doesn't mean that you don't love the business. That doesn't mean that you're going to quit, but you don't always feel inspired to oh my gosh, I'm so thankful for this business. This business has just changed my life because yada, yada, yada. And writing this post. But sometimes you feel so inspired that you're I already wrote my post. I have so much more to say. Right? Drop a 2 if that's ever been you. And you're yes, I can just keep going. This post is about to be 16 pages long. I'm about to say continued on the next post and the next post and the next post. So I can just keep going. And I think for what's best for me and what's worked a lot better is sitting down whenever I do have time and jotting down as many ideas as I can and writing out as many posts as possible. So on the plane, I make myself write posts on the plane because I'm usually listening to self-development on the plane, or I do in the airport before I get in the plane, or I've been to a networks event or a retreat or something. So I'm very filled up. I'm very excited. So I'm writing posts on the plane just in my notes on my phone. And so then whenever I'm writing all these posts, now I have pictures to go with them and I'm just pairing them together. And that's kind of what I do for my power hour is I go to my when to post app and I look, okay, I need to post at this time today. So I'm going to set my alarm for this time. And then okay, I like this post for today and this picture would look good in my feed here. So I'm going to post these together. And so I'll set it up in that way, but my posts are already written out. And then some days, I don't feel inspired, but I already have 7 days of posts written out. So it doesn't really matter. And then every time that I do get inspired by listening to a Michael Todd sermon or a Craig Rochelle podcast or my Audible book, right now I'm listening to The Magic of Thinking Big. If you've never read it, add that to your list too. Magic of Thinking Big, so good, but I'm listening to that. So if I hear something, I'm bookmark. And I'll bookmark it while I'm listening to it, or I'll jot down a little note about what it's about. And then I'll go back and find it. And then I'll listen to it again and I'll write a post from that using a quote or whatever. So, that is kind of what I do for posting, and it's helped so much more so that I don't just throw something out there that I don't actually really care about.
No, yeah, I love that. And then someone else had put in the chat, what do you do when your family isn't supportive? Do you still just do self-development?
When your family?
Yeah.
So family you can't choose, because if it's your friends, you can just level up your friend circle. They're not really your friends. If it's your family, my family was supportive. They were kind of oh, cute little Morgan's gonna go do her thing. They never really expected it to be this, but neither did I. But they were supportive and they were excited for me. And they knew that I don't know, they believed in me more than they believed in the company, I guess I should say. So I think if they weren't supportive, I would have said, basically that it's okay if you don't believe in the company, but do you believe in me? It's okay that you don't believe in network marketing, that you're not on board with it, but do you love me? Because I'm the one doing it, and you don't have to buy a thing. All I'm asking for is respect and support. And you don't even have to say anything nice, just don't say anything mean. That's all I'm asking for you to do. And I do want to do this for you were going to go out and try out for the NFL, I wouldn't tell you that it was stupid. Even though your likelihood of being successful in the NFL is less than what I have to be successful in network marketing, I wouldn't bash you for it. So I'm asking for that same level of respect from you. And obviously, depending on the person that is in your family, you're going to say it differently. But that's kind of where I would go from that, is just you don't have to love what I do, but love me. You don't have to respect the company, but respect me. And then eventually it's going to be both. They're going to love the company. They're going to see it. My parents, dude, they went from being oh, that's cute. Good luck with that. That's awesome that you're doing this. Good, that's cool for you. To, and they didn't order products for 2 years just because mostly they couldn't afford it. But then they order products. My dad called me the other day. He's hey, did you change my order from the toner to the cleanse? Because I'm so excited about it. He loves the products. And he called me. He was hey, my friend JP's gonna order some products from you. I was okay. And then JP got somebody to order some products for me too. And so like my dad's out there networking. He's like, yeah, I told this girl about you and she's probably going to call you and ask you about some collagen. I was like, okay, Dad. So like he's like that. He went from like, oh, that's cool to like, yes, go talk to my daughter. Like, so just have hope that they will come around. But if you need to have a crucial conversation with them, if it's just one person, pull them aside and say, hey, I don't appreciate the way that you're treating me. I would never do this to you. I just ask for your support. You don't have to buy anything, but just love me for what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard someone answer that question that way. And like, that was amazing. Cause like, I would have never thought of it like that. Just like, believe in me. But like, I love that. So thank you so much for that. So I just had one more question for you, unless anyone puts one in the chat. But I remember you saying this in Boston. I don't know if it was like on a panel or if we were just like talking, but you were talking about how you've been like really focusing on like giving glory to God. And I kind of wanted you to like go over that a little bit. Cause like you said that and I'm like me with my green self, I have 1,000 questions. So I just wanted you to talk about that a little bit too.
Okay. So this year has just been so crazy. Like my team's like, oh my gosh, I've heard this 12 times. But so like basically this year for me has just been really eye-opening, and it's been like the hardest year of my business but the best year of my business, like mentally and emotionally. I think for so long I was just I don't even know the words really, just like I was super caught up in the money. And it's okay to like want money, that's not bad, and I still want money, but it's for different reasons and with a different mindset. And I think that's where the difference is. So you know, I was like chasing after the paycheck while not really caring about the people that it took to help me get there. I kind of looked at everything that I had accomplished as like something that I was able to do. Like, look at me and look what I did. It was all to show. I think I was trying so hard to prove people wrong that it was coming off as like very like full of myself and gloating and like showing people and like, yes, tell people about the things that this business does for you, but it's the heart behind it that was not right. And so me saying now, I bought this house, I'm so excited, is different than me a year ago saying I'm getting a house, I'm so excited. Same words, same thing, but different heart. And so for me, saying those things, that wasn't to help other people, it was to show people how good I am, look at me and look what I can do. And God really broke me of that this year. And there's another book, I love self-development. There's another book called Poverty, Riches, and Wealth. And I actually bought the hard copy because I really wanted to highlight it because it was so good whenever I was listening to it. But he was talking in there and he said basically like, let me see if I can find it. Okay. So basically he's talking about this watch. And he had this like just this watch, right? And he loved this watch, but then like in church or something, I can't remember the story, but in church or something, like the pastor was like, okay, pass your like watch back to the person behind you. And like the guy like gave his watch or whatever, and then like they're gonna pass him back, and like they re-exchanged them. But after the sermon, the guy came up and he was like, can I have that watch and I'll give you mine? And the guy was like, but I really love this watch, but like, yeah, sure. So he took the other dude's watch, put it on his wrist, and then like later come to find out that watch that he was given was worth 5 times more than the watch that he gave away. And so then now he has like this awesome watch, and then he ended up switching that out for a different one, and then he ended up getting another one, blah, blah, blah. So all that to say there's a purpose behind that, okay? So at the end of it, and this was me right here, okay? At the end of it, it said, so he ended up getting like this amazing watch, and God told him to give it away. So he went from like this, like whatever watch, didn't really know about watches, like to obsessed with watches, the best of the best, and God said, give it away. And so because like every time that he had given it away, he got something better. So then it says, I asked God, what deal are you making with me this time? No deal, the Lord insisted. Give the pastor your watch. That's the deal. I really love that watch. I was not in a financial position to replace it, so I was not excited about giving it away. When I resisted this time, the Lord was not so gracious to me. He said, when you had a little, you were willing to obey me, but now that you have a lot, you're disobedient. Don't worry about giving the pastor your watch. I'll just reduce your prosperity down to your ability to your ability to obey, and that way you won't be led into temptation. And that was me. I was like, dang. So for me, like, I was making all this money and like not even tithing. Like, I wasn't even giving any of it away. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do and called to be obedient to the Lord. And so I wasn't tithing. I wasn't, giving God the glory on my, like, even my posts. And that sounds so silly, but what we do is on social media. So a lot of our posting, like, that is a way to give God the glory and to use it as a platform to say, like, not look at me, but like, look what God did through this business for me. And like, this is so cool. Like, I don't know. So I think there's so much that I could say about this year and just like how I've tried to switch my mindset and my perspective on those things. But I think a lot of it is just trusting in God that He has a plan, and trusting that every single thing that He's doing is working towards that plan. And then whenever something good does happen, the first thing that I say is like, God, thank you so much. Like, thank you for this customer. Like, thank you for this distributor. And like praying ahead of time too, like praying at the beginning of the day. That's something that I do every morning too that I didn't mention before, but just praying like, God, bring people into my business that need this. Like, bring customers into my business that love the products, who are customers for life. And that's also some of my affirmations too. But praying those things, it makes it a little bit easier too. Side note, whenever people don't join your business, because you're like, okay, that was God's protection. And so like, you're not like butthurt because they didn't join. So I think just like, honestly, just little things like that, just practicing like gratitude is huge, because so many good things come from a grateful heart. But yeah, God's been teaching me a lot this year, and just pretty much taking the focus back off of myself and putting it back onto Him, because God, He gave us this business, and I was worshiping the gift instead of the giver. I was so focused on my charts and my paycheck, and I hit the highest paycheck I had ever had in my business back in March or April, I think March, but I hit the highest paycheck I had ever had, and it didn't even feel good. I didn't even enjoy it. I can't wait to get back to that paycheck, because it's going to feel different this time. And like, I hit that paycheck that I wanted for so long, and I was just like, but it wasn't enough. Like, I remember, so I'll just tell you right now, it was $33,000. And I was like, it's not 40. Literally, that was my response. How freaking stupid. Like, I suck. Like, that was literally me in this book. Like, it was like, okay, like, you ungrateful little nasty. What the heck? Okay, well, we're just going to chop that down in half. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. But so I think for me, like, keeping my focus, putting it back on the Lord instead of like the money is not bad, but like, when your heart is for the money, when you do love money more than you love anything else, that is literally a sin. It says it in the Bible. But so you can want nice things, you can have nice things, those are great, but don't give those things the glory. Know that it's God that gave you those things, and worship the giver instead of the gift. Because whenever you hit those ranks, whenever you hit diamond or get that awesome paycheck, you want it to feel good. And at that point, I had success without fulfillment, and that's the ultimate failure. And Jim Rohn says that. And so you want to have success and fulfillment. And in order to do that, you have to make sure that your heart's in the right place, or I truly believe that the success won't last. Like, it's going to be very temporary. So I don't know if that helps or if that even made sense. I feel like I'm still going through it. So it's hard for me to even process still like what I'm going through. And I could do a freaking podcast on all the stuff that I've learned this year, but that's hopefully helpful for giving God the glory for it. Honestly, it's just doing it. Just give God the glory. Thank Him for every single thing that happens in your business, and know that it's from Him, so that you don't get a big head and think for a second that it was you.
No, I love that, and that answered the question completely. So thank you so much. If I can speak, this did go a little bit longer than I expected, but I thank you so much for this. I took so many notes, and I'm just so grateful for you. And so yeah, anyone doesn't have any other questions, we will go ahead and end this.